Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolley Show on the GCN Radio Network.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, the emotional idiots continue to pour out of the woodwork. Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Tolley. This is the Josh Tolley Show, GCN Radio Network. 1-800-259-5791 is the phone number. 1-800-259-5791. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all those fun social sites, and of course the website. Grab a copy of Entrepreneur 2 while you're there. Did anybody... Well, actually, let's do it this way. Have you seen anti-Trumpers in your city? If so, what are they doing? Because some of this stuff is getting absolutely crazy. We just posted a story on our Facebook page, and it's a little graphic if you are looking at it with kids. But if you go to the Josh Tolley Facebook page, we just put a story up about how, I guess, love no longer trumps hate. Is that the goal here? Is that the message? Remember all the Hillary supporters, love Trump's hate, love Trump's hate. Well, evidently that's not the case anymore. The story that we posted has a Trump protester going number 2, right in public, just going number 2, right there on the spot, on a Trump sign, right in front of everybody, in front of the cameras, in front of the police, in front of the crowds, just dropping trow, going number 2. Then taking her hand and smearing it all over the Trump sign. And I know, half of you who are eating breakfast just lost your breakfast. I'm sorry about that, but thank a Trump protester. Is that love trumping hate? I'm just asking. Is that what you had in mind when it was all kumbaya, we love Hillary? Just curious. And then you have riots in Oregon and in California. Riots. How is that love trumping hate? Huh? Just curious. And then you have CNN airing protesters talking about killing Donald. But love Trump's hate, right? And then you have, remember this story? A Muslim student was grabbed by a Trump supporter and her hijab was ripped off her head. Because Trump supporters hate Muslims, because Trump supporters are the ones that hate, right? Turns out it was all fake. A lot like all these other stories about Trump supporters coming out as fake. Lafayette, Louisiana, after a Muslim student at the University of Louisiana claimed that her hijab and wallet were stolen by 2 Donald Trump supporters. Police announced that they have found this claim to be absolutely fabricated, fake, made up. The 18-year-old Middle Eastern student told police that white men shouting racial slurs at her drove up in a truck and struck her multiple times in the back and were stealing her hijab and wallet. The police tell KLFY that there are no witnesses, no surveillance, no evidence of abuse, no nothing. During the course of the investigation, the female complainant admitted that she made up the story about her attack because she didn't want Trump to win. I'm so sick of these people. I am so sick of these emotional messes. And there are, here's the thing, it's not just millennials. I had a millennial send me a message, Steven, great guy, out of Florida. Man, I am so upset with my generation, he says, right? It's not just his generation. It's not. It's the over-emotional people. Now, it just so happens that the millennial generation has a large percentage of their population as over-emotional people. But it's not an age thing. It's an emotional incompetence thing. Kind of like Chelsea Handler. She was filming her show. I didn't even know if she still had a show, to be honest with you. But she was filming her show, and she had Barbara Boxer on, and they're crying. They're crying because we have to go on. We just have to go. Were non-Obama voters acting like this when Obama won? And the answer is no. No, they were not. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. It made me so mad. I can't even watch the whole... So there's this video going around of a mother who kicks her son out of the house and films it because he voted for Donald Trump at the school election. And this kid's only like probably 8 or something, 9. Like he's a little dude, right? And I am hoping that the mom had since let him back into the house. But even if she did, what she did was still stupid, deplorable, and somebody needs to kick her out of the house. But you see this little kid who voted for Trump in the school election. Now, little kids don't know anything about anything. They don't know Republican. They don't know Democrat. They don't know anything. They're just picking somebody. But this mother was so upset, she packed his bag and kicked him out. And he has a sign that says, the reason my mom kicked me out is because I voted for Donald Trump. And the kid is bawling, just having a fit because he thinks he's now homeless. He's trying to tell his mom, but he's got school tomorrow. And his mom's saying, well, you should have thought about that before you voted for Donald. What is wrong with you people if you are in this group? What is wrong with you? Seriously, what is wrong with you? I got a message, Trump protesters here, they're marching around the campus, a lot of profanity but no violence. Well, of course they use profanity because they hate it when Trump uses profanity. So what do? You use profanity. AG in San Diego says, here in San Diego, they went to the tourist areas and started fighting with the police. Most were young, they live in Tijuana but come to school here in the U.S., They come with their Mexican flags. Shameful. Well, that's just the way emotional people are. See, and here's the crazy thing. You have these videos of these emotional people. And if you haven't watched them, some of them are hilarious because these people are so stupid. But they end it with, and our younger generation, we're going to take over someday. And then you'll see, you know what? I'm just going to warn you, emotional generation. Once you take over, you're going to die. Because you have no ability to actually do anything. You don't. You have no ability to do anything. You're going to be worse than Obama and Hillary. Now think about this. These are two people who didn't really do anything but make it worse. Obamacare made it worse. International relations made it worse. Business made it worse. Home ownership made it worse. Interracial relations in this country made it worse. He made everything worse. Nothing got better. Everything got worse. Hillary Clinton at the State Department, same thing. Lost $6 billion, made it worse. International deals made it worse. But the people who are coming behind them are even worse than that. Because they are so over-emotional about what they are experiencing that they delve into the realm of mindlessness. And I'm sad for all the veterans, which, by the way, happy Veterans Day. I'm sad for all the veterans who fought and died for this country so a bunch of emotional messes can ruin it. All right, stay where you're at. We'll be back right after this.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy. Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solark EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solark is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solark is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solark beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solark is energy insurance for your family.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
You ever wonder what happened to America?
Because of what we did on this day, change has come to America.
Something's wrong, and we all know it. I'm Charlie Daniels, and I'm here to tell you about it.
The nation has been hijacked by international forces bent on global governance.
When I was a boy, it was okay to be proud of the flag, heritage, mom and apple pie. God was in school, morality had a future, and beef was for supper. Revelation, dawn of global government.
We're the solution. Americans. Ain't nothing more to it than that.
Starring Alex Jones, Charlie Daniels, and Special Ops General Jerry Boykin. Theatrical screenings on demand. DVDs now available. Want to shed some tears over the red, white, and blue? Revelation, the movie.info. Americans need to see this film. Revelation, the movie.info. Let's fix it.
There is an affordable alternative to the high cost of healthcare that offers freedom from insurance while providing compliance with the Obamacare individual mandate. Imagine having access to quality, affordable healthcare that allows you the freedom to choose your doctor and hospital. Members can share up to 100% of necessary medical expenses, including some alternative treatments. Find out how you and your family can contain healthcare costs without giving up your freedom. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
But what if this goes deeper? What if this goes deeper than just one candidate? What if there's a system at play? You know, a lot of us have heard about, you know, the conspiracies behind the scenes, political parties working together or with outside groups to destroy the country. But until last week, I never saw it put more plainly together and more understandable than when I watched this movie, The Enemies Within. And I was lucky enough to watch a screening of it with the creator, the filmmaker who made this movie. His name is Trevor Loudon, and he joins us now to talk about this. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing? Hey, Tom, can we get his volume up? Mr. Loudon, are you with us? All right. Then I'm going to tell you about the movie until we can get that to work. There you are. All right. Yep. It's good to have you on, sir. Sorry about the technical difficulty there. So
no problem, Josh. Great to be on.
It's great to have you, and we have so much to cover. I want people to get this movie. Matter of fact, in the second hour, we might do a promo where we give one or two away or something. But tell us in a nutshell first, the overall picture behind the movie, then we'll delve into some details.
Well, look, what we're saying is that, you know, most people who work for the federal government require some sort of form of FBI security clearance. But if you get elected to Congress or the U.S. Senate and serve on the Armed Services Committee or the Homeland Security Committee, even the Intelligence Committee, you need nothing. So what we're saying is that neo-communist groups, Muslim Brotherhood front groups, working together now have about 100 members of the House and 20 members of the Senate who are basically following their agenda, none of whom could pass an FBI background check, but these people are trashing the Constitution every day of the week.
You know, it's interesting. When I was watching the film and it was talking about enemies within, enemies that everybody in the military and law enforcement swears to protect us against, this is exactly what they were talking about. These people are just desecrating the Constitution. But here's the larger question. Why hasn't anybody done anything about it?
Well, look, your internal security has been gutted over the last 50 years. You know, people like John Conyers, the congressman from Michigan, have worked inside your Congress at the behest of the Communist Party to basically gut your internal security mechanisms. And as you well know, that the mainstream media is so politically correct and so indoctrinated by the left that they will not call us out. They wouldn't call out a communist if they had a hammer and sickle tattooed on their forehead. They would not call out the Muslim Brotherhood, which has extensively infiltrated your government. They cover for these guys. So the media, the mainstream media is not telling you about it. There are the internal security mechanisms in the U.S. government have largely been gutted. So your enemies are using this massive hole in your national security to infiltrate into your Congress and your Senate and your executive branch people who are basically sworn to the destruction of this country. Like, you know, for instance, you have Andre Carson serving on the Intelligence Committee, the representative from Indiana, overseeing all 16 of your intelligence agencies, and this guy has identifiable long-term ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Yet he is able to serve on that committee. You know, he couldn't pass an FBI security check to drive a school bus or to be a realtor, but he's serving on your intelligence committee. And that's just one of the many examples we call out in the movie.
Oh yeah, this movie is absolutely wonderful. I'm watching that movie, and you actually name names. You provide the links between organizations and supporters. And the one that really shocked me, and I forgot what his name was, but I think he was from Minnesota. And he's speaking at this, I think it's a CARE event or maybe ISNA or something. But he's saying that, you know, people think that we're hatching plans to overtake America. There's secret meetings going on. And let me say to you, undercover agents. And at that point, I thought he was going to say, of course not, we're all just peaceful Muslims. Instead, he said, Allah will not let you stop us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wait a
that's
second.
a shocking moment. That was actually Andre Carson. That's Andre Carson, who serves on the Intelligence Committee, openly saying basically that we're here to destroy the country, and no matter what you do, Allah will not allow you to stop us. This is out of his own mouth. You know, we didn't coach him to say that.
That is beyond me. So, the real kicker to this movie, though, is I've known about the Muslim Brotherhood and radical Islam, and I've known that communism was a thing. But I loved how you painted the picture of how these two terrible aspects of humanity are actually working together.
Yeah, yes, and that's what I think a lot of Americans don't understand. They understand Islamic terrorism is a threat, the Muslim Brotherhood is a threat, and when people, to explain what the Muslim Brotherhood is, it was formed in Egypt in the 1930s, with the 20s, with the aim of re-establishing the old Muslim caliphate. And the Muslim Brotherhood was the father of Hamas, the father of Al-Qaeda, and indirectly to ISIS. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood operates in America legally through front groups like CARE and ISNA and ICNA, the Muslim Students Association, etc. But and Americans understand that communism was a threat in the past, but what we've done is tied them together. The communist movement in America right now, which you see rioting on the streets right now over the Trump election, which you saw behind the Black Lives Matter movement and the Occupy movement, is completely allied to the Muslim Brotherhood, and they have a whole bunch of congressmen from John Conyers and Keith Ellison and Andre Carson dancing to their tune. And some of these people are on the Intelligence Committee, the Judiciary Committee, etc. So you have basically enemy agents working at the highest levels of your Congress, and they use their influence to shut down FBI, investigations, to infiltrate their people into the State Department, into the Justice Department, into the FBI itself. So you have a real infiltration inside your country, and the FBI can't do anything about it because their bosses are the problem. The Justice Department and John Conyers on the Judiciary Committee, and Judy Chu on the Judiciary Committee, and Luis Gutierrez, all of whom are tied into the Muslim Brotherhood, all of whom are tied into the communist movement. And so you're basically defenseless against this, well, you have been up until this election, defenseless against this infiltration.
Well, sir, let's take a break right there. We're going to come back, keep digging into this, and folks, just go get a movie right now during the commercial break and get it on the way so you'll have it next week. Go to enemieswithinmovie.com. We'll be back right after this. Want to be the smartest person you know? Then keep listening. This is the Josh Tolley Show on GCN Radio Network.
Do you ever wonder what happened?
Change has come to America.
When I was a boy, it was okay to be proud of the flag, heritage, and beef was for supper. Revelation, Dawn of Global Government, starring Alex Jones, Charlie Daniels, General Jerry Boykin. Theatrical screenings on demand. DVDs now available. Want to shed some tears over the red, white, and blue? Revelation, the movie.info. Let's fix it.
We use cell phones against our heads every day. But now, a landmark U.S. government study confirms increased health risks from exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The time to protect yourself is now. The solution is Defender Shield. Proudly made in the USA, Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation emitted from cell phones, tablets, and laptops. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. Use discount code DEFENDER for 10% off. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in EMF radiation protection.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9256. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9256. Call 1-800-958-9256. 1-800-958-9256.
We are talking to filmmaker Trevor Loudon about his movie, The Enemies Within, and I gotta tell you folks, doing what I do, I see all of the patriotic films, I get all the patriotic books, I see it all. This movie puts it together in such a way that your friends and family cannot get to the end of the movie and argue with you. And Trevor, one of the things you did so wonderfully, and it was so shocking to be honest, was all the ties that you put together. That speech that's in the movie with Joe Biden telling the other communists, hey, you have to be patient with us, we're trying to move our country in that direction. And then the clip of Bill Clinton talking in Europe to these socialists about, hey, wait a second, we're trying to line up with you guys. It takes away any sort of oh, you're just being mean. And this is proof positive, hand in the cookie jar, done.
Yeah, look, exactly. You know, much of the movie is showing these people speaking their own to the comrades in their own words, and to add credibility to the movie. You know, we use a lot of former CIA officers, FBI people, Homeland Security whistleblowers, etc., but also former communists themselves. You know, people who were on the other side now on our side, to give credibility. But yeah, when you have Joe Biden, yeah, and most people think Uncle Joe Biden was a moderate. You know, he is just as bad as Obama or Clinton or Tim Kaine. You know, he's a Marxist. And here he is talking to the communist leaders of Brazil and Chile, saying, look, just give us some time. We're trying to move in the right direction, but, you know, we need some patience. You know, it's not easy. And when you see him say stuff like that, or Bill Clinton speaking to this international socialist gathering, you realize just how far to the top this infiltration has been. You know, this is right to the very top. This is not mid-level stuff. This is the top levels of the Democratic Party.
Which I think, even after this election, people are feeling all happy and yay, we won. But people, you still have to watch this movie because like he just said, this is kind of like a spider web. It goes everywhere. It goes deep. So somebody's going to say, yeah, but communism is over with. I mean, Russia, the big red bear, it fell. Why are you guys talking about commies?
Well, you know, anybody who sees the current rioting against the Trump victory in city after city, anybody who watched the Black Lives Matter movement, what do you think that is? That is complete communist controlled. That is controlled by Socialist Alternative, Freedom Road Socialist Organization, Party of Socialism and Liberation, Workers' World Party, Communist Party USA, etc. You tell me communism is dead when they can start race riots in most major cities in America. And that's happening right now, right in front of you. So what we're saying is it isn't just at that level. See, what happened in America in 1990? See, the American labor movement used to be very anti-communist. But in 1995, it was taken over by the radical left. John Sweeney, a Marxist, became leader of the AFL-CIO, and he removed the anti-communist clause from the AFL-CIO's constitution, and the Marxists came flooding in. Now they can completely control the United States labor movement, every major labor union. But see, what that does, if you control the unions, you effectively control the Democratic Party, because there's hardly a Democrat in the country who's not elected with union help. So therefore, you can dictate Democratic Party policy. That's why you got Obamacare, a communist policy. That's why you got a nuclear deal with Iran, another communist policy. That's why you've got normalization of relations with Cuba. That's why you got immigration amnesty, all communist policies. Now, just want any union member, you think back, 30 years ago, it was the unions who were attacking illegal immigration, who had people on the border, who were lobbying Congress to increase penalties on any employer caught employing illegals, because they rightly understood that illegal immigrants were taking their jobs and lowering their wages and conditions. Now, in the last few years, who has been leading the charge to legalize the illegals? It's been the unions, because the unions were taken over in 1995 by the communists. And what they plan to do, this is the whole reason behind amnesty. There are between 12 and 50 million illegals in the country. We know they will vote between 75 and 80% Democrat if they get citizenship and voting rights. That is why the legals, the unions and the communists have been promoting amnesty, because that will give the Democrats an unassailable majority. That will give the Democrats anywhere between 10 and 40 million new voters. And if you think about it, Mitt Romney lost the 2012 election by 2.5 million votes. Donald Trump just won by a couple of million. If you give the Democrats 8, 10, 20, 30 million new votes, it's all over. It's a one-party state. And we have just been saved from that. Hillary Clinton was going to legalize all of the illegals within the first 100 days of office. Had she done that, there never would have been another Republican or conservative president ever. And the Democrats, who are controlled by the unions, who are controlled by the communists, would have been the permanent government of America. Americans do not realize what they have just been saved from. It was disaster.
Or at least postponed from.
And that's the better word. So that's why we want to pump the movie out there as much as we can, enemieswithinmovie.com, because this will come back. This is not over. You've seen the reaction on the streets. These communists are going to try and create major insurrection in this country, and they will keep going until they become the government again in the future, and then they will amnesty everybody, and then they will have a one-party state. So we've been given a reprieve, and we need to make the most of it.
Well, and they're really slick about this too, because they realize they just don't need the government; they need the universities. So they've kind of taken those over.
Yeah.
They need the youth, so
Absolutely.
they've kind of taken those over. But what about people who say, no, that's not communism. That's democratic socialism, and that's a good thing.
Would you know the difference between democratic socialism and communism? It's usually about 5 years. Bernie Sanders ran as a democratic socialist. The largest communist group in America is called Democratic Socialists of America. They completely controlled Bernie Sanders' campaign. He's been working with them for 30 years. He also worked with the Communist Party USA and a whole bunch of other radical groups. Bernie Sanders is a communist. Not a democratic socialist, not a liberal, not a progressive, a communist. And he is completely dishonest about his true intentions. Basically, democratic socialism is just a polite name for communism. It's just something to draw the young people into, something to draw the moderates into. It's like calling the Nazi Party, say, the Democratic Socialist, National Socialist Party or something. It is just a scam to get people into the communist movement. I was at the People's Summit in Chicago earlier this year. 3,000 Bernie supporters there. A whole bunch of real hardcore communists, democratic socialists, the whole lot. Democrats, you couldn't tell the difference. They were all singing off the same song sheet, and they were all talking about revolution in America. Hold
on one second. We're up against a break. We'll talk about what that revolution might look like right after this.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
I'm happy to see the messages that people are already picking up this movie. That's awesome. You need to get this movie. Seriously. It's called The Enemies Within. It outlines everything so wonderfully that your friends and family are going to be like, oh, yeah, I don't know, I never saw this. But we're talking to the creator of the movie, the filmmaker, Trevor Loudon. Here's the problem I see. We have a situation where this next generation is basically emotionally compromised. They are completely inept. And unlike the hippie generation in the 60s, those guys were militant. Those guys were at least, okay, fine, tear gas us. This generation is asking for safe spaces with puppies and cookies. Colleges around the country are canceling their finals and their exams because, students are emotionally traumatized. There are colleges not issuing anything lower than a C because that's too much pressure. What happens when this tidal wave of communism and radical Islam meets this tidal wave of emotional sissies? I don't think it's one of those things that they'll grow out of. I think it's just going to get worse.
Well, like as you say, there's a whole generation that have been emotionally crippled by the sort of grievance industry and the dumbing down of the schools and the emasculation of young American men, effectively. And that is a huge demographic problem because that's coming down the pike. And so we may have won a reprieve in this election, but these people are going to be voting in the next few elections. And as Bernie Sanders has shown, many of them will fall for anything. So I think we have to use this current administration to totally revamp the education system, to get rid of the Department of Education, to restore education to the states and the local communities, to at least get it back on a sound footing. And then we've got to get the economy moving so that at least some of these young kids can get out of their mom's basement and actually get jobs that actually pay some money. So, look, because, Ronald Reagan, and you're right, there is a difference between the 60s hippies and the people of today, because there's a real difference in quality. But Ronald Reagan, bless him, turned a lot of those 60s hippies into good free enterprises because of his great economy and his idealism and his vision. I think that can still happen today with at least some of them. We've got to turn at least some of them around to get our base back in order. But long term, there's got to be a complete cultural change, and that's why Donald Trump is so refreshing, and that he doesn't seem to know what political correctness is. And political correctness is just cultural Marxism, and it has been used to turn a whole generation of young kids into touchy-feely, just suckers for anything. And we got to realize that's a huge problem looming on our horizon, and we got to do everything we can to change the education system, change the economy, but mostly change the culture of the country, so that the old values of, masculinity and freedom and standing up for America and being patriotic become the dominant culture again, and this sort of wimpy, neo-hippie, neo-Marxist thing really is marginalized. So we've only got a few years to do that, because if they're voting, this is a big voting block here, and the older generation's dying out, so we have to change the culture real quick, or otherwise they will eventually swamp us.
Which is why people need to get this movie, enemieswithinmovie.com. And, one of the things that we're seeing already is it's not like the other side, the communist side, is just going to go quietly into the night. Look at how hard the globalists are fighting the Brexit. They thought, okay, we voted for it, it's going to happen. Yeah, it might not happen. And now it's held up in courts just by the same people who were pushing for the communist message before.
Absolutely. They're not going to give up lightly. Brexit was a huge victory, and we've got to make sure it goes through. But the same with the Trump victory. The left are already saying, I read their press all the time, they're saying, well, Trump won this election, but the future belongs to the left. Because they understand demographics, they understand cultural changes. That's why it's so important that we take Hollywood back. That's why we need to take the news media back. Because these young people's minds are being shaped by Hollywood and the media. And if we don't take those back, they're eventually going to win, no matter what we do. So, so as you understand, this is a cultural thing. Most American kids think that America got rich by exploiting the third world and ripping off the people to the south, and that Americans don't deserve to be wealthy. That's their mindset. So they'll fall for any of this Bernie garbage, they'll fall for any of the socialist stuff, and we have to restore that idea that America is the shining light. America is the guardian of liberty. America, for all its faults and for all the subversion, is still the freest country in the world, and people need to appreciate and protect that. And when the young kids get that message, there is hope for America.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why, in addition to the education, we also need to reteach entrepreneurship, because people ask me, how did you get your political views? Was it a rally or a movie or something? No, I became an entrepreneur, and you figure out real quick, wait a second, these people are ripping me off.
Yeah, exactly. The old lemonade stand mentality needs to come back, doesn't it? You know, that any American kid can make a fortune. And right now these kids are basically told that their life is going to be working at McDonald's and they're going to live in their mom's basement and that's their lot. And the only thing they can do to get a few crumbs is to vote for the Democrats. That's the message. So we need to absolutely, you know, get the government off the American workers' back, get the government off businesses' back, lower the taxes, you know, obviously get rid of Obamacare and all these things that are holding the economy down, open up the energy fields. Look, if you did all of that, you opened up the economy, I'll tell you what, Josh, even a lot of these millennial generation, they would catch on pretty quickly.
Yep.
And they'd be out there making money, they'd change their attitude, they'd change their culture, and they'd forget about all this socialism stuff pretty quickly. You won't save all of them, but you can save a substantial number of them, and we have to open up the economy, as you say, to make it worthwhile being an entrepreneur again. Because that, as you rightly know, is the backbone of America. That America isn't rich because America had resources. America is rich because America had freedom and the rule of law and supported entrepreneurs to make money, to make everybody wealthy.
Yep, absolutely. And when we look at Europe, you know, it's not just the communist aspect, but the Muslim aspect too, that infiltration. Do you think it's too late for Europe with the 1.5 million plus they let in?
Well, look, I think it's virtually too late. Maybe it can be turned around, but they have to have the political will to do that. And there are signs that it could happen. Look, you know, we've seen miracles before. You know, Britain should have been destroyed by the Nazis, but it wasn't. You know, we've seen the Tea Party revolution, we've seen the Reagan revolution, we've seen Brexit. I never write Europe off entirely, but they are coming to the last possible gasp. And what I'm hoping is the recent Trump victory combined with Brexit will just spur on those forces in Europe to just sort their countries out once and for all. Just shut down the immigration, re-establish the borders, re-establish border controls. You know, turn Italy back to the Italians. You know, turn France back to the French. Turn Ireland back to the Irish. You know, just get rid of all this EU globalization garbage and restore nationalism in these countries, and then they have a chance of survival. Then they have a chance of sorting things out.
Well, Trevor Loudon, thank you so much for joining us. Folks, get the film. Matter of fact, you can actually go to the website, enemieswithinmovie.com, and you can host a party where you get 10 DVDs, 10 bumper stickers, 3 T-shirts, a bunch of other stuff, and start sharing this with other people. It's great for churches and community action groups. But thank you so much for making the movie, sir.
Look, thanks very much, Josh. It was a real pleasure being on any time, and best wishes to all your listeners out there.
Sounds good. We'll have to have you back on in the future. Folks, stay where you're at. Hour number 2, right around the corner.
Sometimes you won't get higher. Sometimes you gotta start low. Some people think they're going down someday. I got news, you never got to go.
Have you ever wanted to quit your job and be your own boss? Interested in investing in real estate, flipping homes, paying off your mortgage in 5 to 10 years, making up to $10,000 in commissions while you learn? Go to wealthcreationinstitution.com now. Find out why we're ranked in the top 2% of the fastest growing companies in the United States, according to Inc. 5000. Limited positions available. Go now. wealthcreationinstitution.com. That's wealthcreationinstitution.com.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
How confident are you in your food storage?
If it was all you had to rely on, would it sustain your family? Hard times, good times, or any time, New Manna Storable Food is the proven superior choice. Learn for yourself what happened when one man ate only New Manna Storable Food for an entire month. Online at PowerPrepper.com. That's PowerPrepper.com. Experience the New Manna difference.
American made food stores I love to eat. Yum!
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat-rated armor up to level 4. And now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolley Show on the GCN Radio Network.
Second hour, Josh Tolley Show, GCN Radio Network. 1-800-259-5791 is the phone number. Everybody's still... if it wasn't so sad, it'd be funny, all these crazy people just losing their stuff. But when it gets destructive, that's where it kind of crosses the line. I just posted a video on the Facebook page. This dude just beating the bejeebies out of a power box because, love trumps hate. Absolutely crazy. I was having a conversation with Tom during the break about social justice warriors. When did this really kick off? And if you don't know what this is, it's the movement that you're watching play out right now. This absolute craziness is exactly a result of that. This over-emotional social justice warriorship. But I wanted to read this to you because this is a great example of idiocy. Aaron Sorkin, who wrote movies like American President, TV shows like West Wing and Newsroom, well, he wrote a letter to his wife and daughter. Yes, he wrote a letter to his wife and daughter. And look at the craziness in here. It says, Sorkin Girls. And, of course, Vanity Fair published it. Well, the world had changed last night in a way that I couldn't protect us from. That's a terrible feeling for a father. I won't sugarcoat it. It is truly horrible. It's hardly the first time my candidate didn't win. In fact, it's the 6th time. But it was the first time that a thoroughly incompetent pig with dangerous ideas and a serious psychiatric disorder, no knowledge of the world, and no curiosity to learn has. Now let's just stop there at paragraph 1. Love trumps hate, right? I thought that was kind of the motto, love trumps hate. Why are you calling people pigs? Love trumps hate guy. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. Love trumps hate. And he has no knowledge of how the world works. Well, Aaron, as far as I know, you've only done business in the United States and only internationally through media agents, so it's not you. So out of the two of you, well, he kind of has a better handle on it. Anyway, he continues, and it wasn't just Trump who won. It was his supporters, too. Now, keep in mind, if you're thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not a supporter. If you are a non-Hillary voter, so if you voted third party to these people, you are a Trump supporter. All right, it was his supporters, too. The Klan won last night. White nationalists, sexists, racist, and buffoons. Young, angry white men who think rap music and Cinco de Mayo are a threat to our way of life, or are the reason for their way of life, have been giving cause to celebrate. Notice how he makes everybody seem racist. Notice how he young white men who think Cinco de Mayo is a threat to their way of life. Newsflash. Go to a Mexican restaurant on Cinco de Mayo. Who are most of the customers? Yeah, so there went your argument there, Aaron. This is just insane. This race had nothing to do with race. Nothing. Nothing. And it had nothing to do with rap music. See, it's interesting how they try to lump these things together, because for people with an emotional mess going on in their head, they don't understand their hypocrisy. They don't see it. They don't see that Hillary's last campaign event had people up on stage saying words that I can't broadcast. Talking about slapping women. Talking about hoes. Talking about genitalia. But I thought that's deplorable. I thought that's deplorable. Folks, this was at an official Hillary campaign stop. Bringing up Beyonce, Jay-Z, and some other rapper talking about all these things that you shouldn't talk about. So you know what? Yes, it is ruining our society. Sorry. That's just the way that goes. And Cinco de Mayo. Nobody hates Cinco de Mayo. Nobody hates Mexican. This whole idea that somehow people hate Mexicans or people hate Hispanics or whatever, I hate the fact that liberals think Mexico is a race. It's the liberals that are nuts. It's the liberals who think that somehow Mexico is a race. It has nothing to do with Mexico. Nothing to do with good people of any color. And for them to do that just shows their ignorance. They hate Cinco de Mayo. Who loves cowboy movies? No, I won't even go there. It's going to be way over Aaron's head anyway. So he continues. Men who have no right to call themselves that, and who think that women who aspire to more than looking hot are shrill, ugly, and otherwise worthy of our scorn rather than our admiration, struck a blow for misogynistic blankheads everywhere. What? Okay, let's be honest. What side of this equation exploits women? Is it the Hollywood side, where every woman has to be a size 4 or under? Where every woman has to look absolutely perfect? How, let's just be honest, ugly people never have sex scenes in movies? Just saying. Not that you should be watching it anyway, but let's be honest. Notice how it's never the ugly people. Or is it the more traditional conservative people who don't want to exploit women? Which side exploits women? But see, they can't see this. Which side was bringing out the rappers talking about smacking your hoe? Oh, your side, Aaron. Got it. But you're standing up for women. Yeah, sure you are, you punk. Hate was given hope last night. Abject dumbness was glamorized as being the fresh voice of an outsider who was going to shake things up. For the next 4 years, the President of the United States, in the same office held by Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, JFK, and Barack Obama, will be held by a man-boy who will spend his hours exacting Twitter vengeance against all who criticize him. We've embarrassed ourselves in front of our children and our world. No, that came after the vote. That came after the vote. When people wrote stupid letters like this. And when people took to the streets. And that's when we embarrassed ourselves to the world. For goodness sakes, Russia is making awesome killer drone robots. We're over here making sex robots. Priorities, people. Anyway, He continues, the world took no time to react. Dow Jones futures dropped 7,000 points overnight. Economists are predicting a deep and prolonged recession that lasted about 4.5 hours. Because did you see what the stock market did once the sun came up? Boom, baby, record economic growth. What? But of course, this is what happens when you have, whatever. And speaking of fear, Muslim Americans, Mexican Americans, and African Americans are shaking in their boots. Why? Why would you promote such hatred, Aaron? Why would you promote that? I'm just being honest. Again, just looking at it from an outside view, right? Until he ran for president, the NAACP loved Donald Trump. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, they loved Donald Trump. They were always talking about how great he was to the African American community. The Mexican Americans loved Donald Trump. Until this. Until somehow we had to make him a racist in order to try to stop him, even though, if we were to be honest, do you know who got the endorsement of the KKK's Grand Dragon? That would be Hillary. Do you know who Margaret Sanger is praised by as a personal hero? Margaret Sanger wanting to eradicate the black race? That would be Hillary. No, Aaron. You are a mindless, emotional numbot on this. We'll be back right after the break.
I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IBC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IBC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IBC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of longevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Youngevity for over 17 years, since before it was Youngevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Youngevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never not once been late in 17 years. Youngevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Youngevity.
Charlie Daniels, he's always defended the Second Amendment.
Let me just read a little thing here from Agenda 21. Individual rights will have to take a back seat to the collective. Well, you know what the next move's going to be, don't you? It's going to be coming after your guns.
When I was a boy, it was okay to be proud of the flag. And beef was for supper. Revelation, Dawn of Global Government. Theatrical screenings on demand. DVDs now available. Want to shed some tears over the red, white, and blue? Revelation, the movie.info.
So as it is Veterans Day, I love to use this show whenever we can to advocate for veterans. This show, according to senators, is the kickoff reason that a lot of the VA scandal was exposed. Before the Vegas situation, before the Phoenix deporting people to the neighboring state and all that sort of stuff, we broke a story from a local VA from the actual hospital, and we got a couple phone calls from senators saying, hey, your information is what we're using, and then CNN picked up on it. So I have been at the forefront of fighting for veterans since the beginning of this show. And I love doing so, because even if you are opposed to whatever war we happen to be in, you can still support the men and women who go fight it. And joining us now, we have somebody who made that sacrifice to go serve on our behalf, who risked their life and their family in order to serve the country. And I'm going to retain the last name. I'm going to leave that up to them. But we actually have two guests. We have John and his wife, Tony, joining us, and they have a very interesting story. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Blessed. How are you?
Oh,
and thank you for having us.
I woke up today. Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So let's do this. I found out about you guys because I had been speaking at a couple Hear the Watchmen events, and the founder of that event contacted me and told me about your story. But I don't want to tell it, so I'm going to let you tell it. I'm just going to shut up, and you guys have the floor.
Okay. Well, my husband retired from the active duty Air Force in 2014. And from that, it's just been a roller coaster. So, been seeking God and His guidance and letting Him lead us. And He led me to do a page, I guess you could say, for You Caring, and just made a comment in one of Mike's posts saying if you could pray about this, and then if God leads you to, if you could share it, and it would really help us out. And from that is where he set up the GoFundMe page, and he started advocating and taking action, and that's when he contacted you, I guess.
So tell us a little bit about what's been going on, though. Why do you need a GoFundMe page?
Well, since retirement, John had a job that was lined up, but the contract was pulled right as he was going to go start that job. We lost our house in Abilene. We had put a renter in it, so because we knew that we couldn't afford it, so we put a renter in it, and then she up and left us with that. We ended up, just chasing job fairs, chasing interviews and everything. He was told a lot that he was overqualified, that they just couldn't afford him. So, I mean, that's pretty much how it was for the last 2 years. And then he was able to land something at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, but it wasn't enough with the bills that we had, coming in. And then my daughter was attacked by dogs. And then, just trying to get back up on our feet, and everything just kept knocking us back down.
Did the military have any programs in place for you, the VA? Did they have any programs for job education or placement or anything like that?
John?
They got more or less training courses and stuff like that to, I guess, help out in the transfer from civilian to our military to civilian life. But as far as I can see, I mean, they said that all these places are hiring veterans, this and that. But a lot of them were underpaying jobs. I didn't find a whole lot of, I guess, middle income, what I was used to, paying jobs. And then, like she said, we assisted help from places like United Way that said that they help military and that they were their first priority and stuff like that. And with my retirement check of $1,600, I was over that income. We went in there asking for a hand up, and they acted like we were trying to get over on the system. That my $1,600 a month was enough to survive on, and whenever I had a vehicle payment, insurance payment, and a family to feed and everything else.
And then we had also filed a Chapter 13 to kind of hold off from garnishing from his pay. And the attorney was requesting, that was $700 a month. And then he was continually asking for more money. So then we had to, after Brianna was attacked by the dog, then it just got to the point where, okay, we're going to have to file a Chapter 7.
Yeah. So in this entire process, has anything changed in how you perceive life to be? I mean, we kind of start out young, doe-eyed, and dreamy, and America's wonderful, and everything's going to be great. Has that changed at all?
No, I guess I pretty much have always had a realistic view of it. And you have to make it for yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
Other people, I mean, sometimes you'll find someone who can see the potential in you, and they're willing to take a chance on you. But for the most time, everybody is out there to see what you can benefit them. And if they don't see how you can benefit them, then they're not even going to give you the time of day.
What were some of the jobs that you were applying for, John? What were they saying to you other than overqualified? Why were you overqualified? What was your MOS?
I was an aerospace ground equipment mechanic in the Air Force. Which I retired as an E7. I was over 35 people and $250,000 worth of equipment that we supported the flight line with. The equipment we did preventive maintenance, regular maintenance, servicing, dispatch of all this equipment, and I was trying to apply for like the first line supervisor, production supervisor, and so on and so forth. And I mean, I was looking for $45,000 to $55,000 a year, and they just told me, and I have a bachelor's degree working on a master's degree, and with all
he's 3 classes away from having his master's degree.
A master's degree in what?
It's a master's in aeronautical science with a major in safety.
Okay.
And my bachelor's is a management degree.
Okay. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the expectations behind the master's degree, because I know so many people in poverty who have master's degrees. It's almost like the the new passport to brokenness. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and then talk about what might lay ahead for you right after this. And veterans, if you're out there, I want to talk to you too, so give us a call, 1-800-259-5791. Want to be the smartest person you know? Then keep listening. This is the Josh Tolley Show on GCN Radio Network.
Did you know your car can be hacked just like your computer or phone? Hackers can hijack the signal of your own key fob to burglarize your vehicle in seconds. The Black Hole Faraday key fob bag is a signal impenetrable shield that stops these hacks in their tracks. Protect one of your most valuable assets. Go to hackproofbag.com. That's hackproofbag.com and use promo code RADIO to get 20% off. Or call 805-222-4584. 805-222-4584.
Have you ever wanted to quit your job and be your own boss? Interested in investing in real estate, flipping homes, paying off your mortgage in 5 to 10 years, making up to $10,000 in commissions while you learn? Go to wealthcreationinstitution.com now. Find out why we're ranked in the top 2% of the fastest growing companies in the United States, according to Inc. 5000. Limited positions available. Go now. wealthcreationinstitution.com. That's wealthcreationinstitution.com.
There was a mighty nation, blessed above all of creation. Charlie Daniels, he's always loved America. He's always defended the Second Amendment.
Let me just read a little thing here from Agenda 21. The American system of justice must be changed to conform to the rest of the world. Individual rights will have to take a back seat to the collective. Well, you know what the next move's going to be, don't you? It's going to be coming after your gun.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, it ain't going to sit well down my way. At all. It ain't gonna sit well.
Do you ever wonder what happened to America?
It's time to ride, boys. We need 1,000 Paul Revere's.
When I was a boy, it was okay to be proud of the flag, heritage, mom and apple pie, and beef. What's for supper? Revelation, Dawn of Global Government. Theatrical screenings on demand. DVDs now available. Starring Alex Jones, Charlie Daniels, Special Ops General Jerry Boykin. Want to shed some tears over the red, white, and blue? Revelation, the movie.info. Let's fix it.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD, because together there is a cure in sight.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-933-1427. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-933-1427. 1-800-933-1427.
We're talking to John and Tony about life after the military. Now, have you guys found that your story is abnormal, or your story is fairly common when it comes to vets?
It's very common.
Yeah, sadly.
I mean,
so
as we were walking it, before this journey, I spent a lot of time volunteering, providing blankets and food, for homeless. And I knew that there was that was in Abilene, Texas, and I knew that there was a lot of homeless veterans there. But, since then, we've discovered how many more families there are. It's not just single men. Some of these men walked away from their families to save them from this, and then some of the families just broke up because not everybody can survive, this type of circumstance. But it's actually increasing. It's not getting any better. It has increased.
And how does it make you feel when you see all these illegal immigrants that come in and get all the benefits and the college tuition and the health care and all that sort of stuff, and yet you're kind of left dangling in the wind by the government that you served?
We're disappointed, but, we also see hope that if we can get enough people aware that of the epidemic that we're actually facing, then something can be done about it. And thankfully, since Tuesday, America has taken a great step towards that. But there's still so many people out there who think that there's so many benefits and everything for the veterans that the veterans are just automatically taken care of when they're not, especially whenever they retire at a rank. It doesn't matter how low on that rank they are, because John retired as an E7, but he was at the low end of that rank. And, E6 is the cutoff. So if he had retired as an E6, there would have been more help out there for us. But since he retired as an E7, that was an automatic disqualification. No food stamps, no anything. So,
wow.
John was, as he would take odd jobs, doing pizza delivery, helping people on their cars, and they'd pay him like $20 to $50 to work on their car. He helped Mr. Lloyd in Virginia. He helped him do some home repairs and everything. And, just odd jobs like that is how we were able to feed ourselves. John was going from the time he got up in the morning to about midnight, if not 1 o'clock in the morning, just trying to find odd jobs or whatever he can to get food and gas.
And where does studying for those 3 remaining classes for the masters fit into that? Is it doable right now? I'm assuming that it's covered under the GI Bill, correct?
Yes, that would still be covered under the GI Bill, but right now he is working night shift at Walmart at the distribution center, and it is just a conflict, and he's actually working himself too much, and comes home from work with headaches, migraines that he's had since he deployed to Qatar the last time. These headaches he gets are just, he's down. And then he comes walking in, and I'm like, honey, you're only 41. You're not 60 or 80 yet, so. But he's constantly doing something, trying to provide for us. I've gotten applications out there, but I have some health conditions that I have to put on the application. And once they see ventricular tachycardia or progressive relapsing multiple sclerosis, they completely overlook my application.
Oh, yeah, even though technically they're not supposed to, let's just be honest, they do. And that just happens. So
yes, I've not had one call back from any of them.
Oh, that's sad. What sort of help have you gotten? Because you're right. Americans think, wow, there's all this help. There's companies that are only employing veterans. You have the Wounded Warrior Project, which, of course, kind of suffered a huge black eye when people found out they weren't really helping people. But you have those other organizations out there. Have any of those reached out to you, or have you reached out to them?
I've reached out to them. I can't even count anymore how many organizations or individuals or anything, churches, the DAV, you name it, we've reached out, Salvation Army, everything. a lot of the churches were so quick. Even if I just went in and asked for prayer, I'm like, it was just fast, and I just needed somebody to talk to, and to pray with. And once they found out we were homeless, they couldn't kick us out fast enough. And one church that was called Upward, but they, during open hours, they pushed us out, the children and I, and he locked the door behind us.
Really?
Then, yes. And then in Virginia, we had Wendy Roundy. She does have a mission. I had made a post, and then somebody had connected me with her. And then I coordinated with her to do some things for the other homeless in the area. And then Brenda, I connected with her. She's in Williamsburg, Virginia also, and with Eagle Ministry. And we were able to provide a Christmas for some other homeless. Some of them veterans, some of them not veterans. And then there's Faith to Faith in Williamsburg, Virginia, which is a church. And they helped, put us into a hotel room. They helped with groceries for a month. And then, of course, with Mike, with Hear the Watchman, he has just really taken, compassion towards us. And just, he started the GoFundMe page at the GoFundMe Mission Christian. Then he's been sending the emails out and contacting people. And then he was the one who got us connected with Bruce and Marilyn Mock at the Classic Rock Incorporated. They have a rock yard here in Walkwall, Texas.
Okay.
And they had just bought a house that had been abandoned. And they didn't know what they were going to do with it. It's just like I just felt God led me to get this house. And then Mike had contacted them, and they're like, well, we have this house. If they can take care of the land, they can live there. It's still the house.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal.
It has 4 acres. I'm in heaven. I like being off the grid, kind of. I'm just that kind of person. I like to prepare and be prepared because I don't trust our government, and I don't trust George Soros or any of them.
Sure.
But but what they have done has just been the most encouraging and the most uplifting. Just knowing that they cared helped. Because on this journey, what we found was so much condemning, so much judgment, and everything. People would ask us, what did you do to deserve this judgment? Like, what makes you think it's a judgment? Because God's been speaking to me during this whole thing. He spoke Job to me. He said, don't pull a Jonah, which we did. And then, we're back on course now. But he said that he was showing us what his church did not want to see. Because before John retired, we prayed, we told him, we're here, we're willing, make us able. And he replied, are you sure? And I'm like, well, yeah, you're God. You're good. You're faithful. You don't have plans to destroy us. You have plans to prosper us. And, you don't come to kill, steal, and destroy. You come to give life in abundance.
Well, tell you what, I am sorry that you're going through what you're going through, and I'm going to give out the website. It's GoFundMe.com/Mission Christian. But when we come back, I think I want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. So stay where you're at, and I'll keep you for part of that segment as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
There is an affordable alternative to the high cost of healthcare that offers freedom from insurance while providing compliance with the Obamacare individual mandate. Imagine having access to quality, affordable healthcare that allows you the freedom to choose your doctor and hospital. Members can share up to 100% of necessary medical expenses, including some alternative treatments. Find out how you and your family can contain healthcare costs without giving up your freedom. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Winter has just begun, and are you already tired of being cold? How would you like to never be cold again? This is Dale with Fortress Clothing, and I'm here to tell you, you will never be cold again with Fortress. If you're tired of freezing your butt off, elk hunting, sitting in a tree stand deer hunting, winter camping, fishing, ice fishing, no longer fear the cold. If you snowmobile, ski, snowboard, get Fortress. Sledding with the kids, shoveling the walks, shopping, or if you or your spouse get cold feet at home, get Fortress. If you're stuck outside working in the cold or find yourself in an emergency situation, get our winter bug-out bag, and you will never be cold again. Fortress is the answer, so quit complaining and go to FortressClothing.com. It's a mid-layer garment that goes with anything you want to wear. Enter coupon code RADIO and get 20% off any item. Go now while we still have inventory. FortressClothing.com.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
What's it going to take? Another news story? You've heard about Infidel Body Armor for years. You know you should have a set. So should your wife. Things aren't getting better. They're getting worse. Thousands already wear Infidel Body Armor. Now get yours. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com and check out today's specials. We make armor easy to understand and easy to purchase. InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNTelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNTelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
So we're talking to Tony and John about life post-military, and they're experiencing something that is common with military families. How has this affected you as a family? Like, you have just one child, correct?
We have two.
You have two. Has this had a negative effect raising them or even keeping the marriage strong?
At moments.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I remind myself, that I love him. I don't care if we lived in a cardboard box. I'm going to be, beside him as long as he wants me to be. And the kids, they were both diagnosed with autism.
Well, that's kind of statistically odd, isn't it?
The social worker told us to separate, and then you could get benefits.
Oh, yeah. We've had a social worker told us that we needed to separate so that I could get benefits.
Whoa.
Yeah. John was dropped on the call, so he's communicating through me.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah.
That's crazy, though, to think that the advice would be to break up a family so you can get a benefit.
Yeah. Well, if you go to homeless shelters, that's how they do it. The men are not allowed to stay with the family, and then you have the women and children's shelter, but then the women have their section, and then the children are put into another section, so the moms aren't even able to parent their own children, and the only time that they're together is in the evening or at night. You know, I think it's 7 o'clock in the evening or 8 o'clock in the evening. That's when families, you know, the mom and the children go back together, but the dads are not allowed to stay there.
Wow. So speaking of family, has any of your family helped out? Brothers, sisters, anything like that?
No. My sister actually physically assaulted me during this. We had went up to Virginia because my parents lived there. And so we were staying there in August of 2014, and then her and her husband and their 4 children moved in with my parents. And anyway, she physically assaulted me more than one occasion. Her husband had actually threatened the life of my oldest son, but I have 4 children, and together John and I have 2. But the oldest 2 are grown. They're over 18 and on their own. So you have a minute. It's just, you know, the 2 youngest that we have right now.
Yeah. So what's the plan? I mean, okay, so he continues to go to school, gets the master's degree. There's not much in that industry. I know people with master's degrees. I know one married couple. They're both waiters, and they have master's degrees in engineering. So what's the plan moving forward?
Just to see where God leads us. And his thing for the master's degree was pretty much because he was the first person in his family to get a high school diploma. He was the first person in his family to graduate from college. And his sister is a pharmacist, but she has lent us money, and then we pay it back whenever we can, or in payments mostly. But, you know, she is struggling herself, and she is a pharmacist. But it's more or less because he was the first in his family, and that was an accomplishment a goal that he had set for himself.
Sure.
That he wanted to do. But right now, you know, it's not something he's worried about doing because he has the 2 associates. He has his Lean Six Sigma, his HVAC, his bachelor's, and then he has the core classes for the master's that he needed for that degree. The other 3 classes are just the throw-in money-wasting classes that they put in there.
Yeah.
That's what I consider them. So he's not really worried about it. It was just one of the goals that he had set from being 18, 19 years old, you know.
But what about all the information we hear about Texas, you know, how there's so many jobs in Texas and there's a lot of high-paying jobs in Texas. Are they just not hiring, or they're not wanting to hire a vet, or what's preventing the advancement there?
Most of them, whenever he went in, like with BNSF, they had him go in for the interview, had him go through the whole thing. And then they said, well, we're looking for Army and not Air Force. And then they told the Army guy that John was new, and he was like, well, they told me they were looking for Navy. So they didn't hire John because they were looking for Army personnel. Then they didn't hire the Army personnel because they were looking for Navy. So,
well, that's kind of weird.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just know that he's out there, and it's just his resume's out there, and we've held on to the cell phones because that was the only form of contact that we had. So if anybody wanted to look in, there's LinkedIn, and then there's the cell phones. That's all.
Right.
Until now, you know, we have an address. But for the most part, I mean, he gets, sorry, we're not interested, or he'll have companies that say, oh, well, your resume looks great, but we don't have any positions that you qualify for at this time. So I guess that their job posts that they have on LinkedIn or online and everything are just outdated. He did have one gentleman, was it with Bradley Morris or who was it, that held on to your resume?
Somebody held on to it.
Niagara Water. They had seen his resume, but they said the position that he had applied for was already filled. So they held on to his resume, and then they contacted him for another position, but we haven't heard anything back on that. So,
is there possibility for growth inside Walmart? I mean, that's a big company.
Walmart is one that, you know, I grew up in Walmart. My dad used to be a district manager for Walmart. But it's not the same. And the way they do their management, I mean, he might could move up and everything. But it's not one that they're willing, you know, they're not eager to do it. They want to work you for less. Even so, for your management and everything, they put a lot of stress on him. But I mean, if that's what if they offer the position, he's got to take it. He's not, you know, not turning anything down.
Well, we have just about to open a branch, an office of Purple Monkey Garage in Dallas, and we routinely train people on how to become entrepreneurs. And I talked to the guy who owns that branch down there along with me, and we both agree that we need to get you two into some training. So we're going to be doing that probably in early spring. So we're going to be doing that. But I also look forward to seeing you at the Hear the Watchmen in Dallas that we're going to be doing in spring as well. And I want people to follow along with your story at GoFundMe.com /Mission Christian and kind of, if you feel moved to help this couple, definitely do it, folks. And I thank you for your family service, both after the active service and even today. So thank you so much for being a voice for so many veterans who are going through the same thing.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I want to stress to people is they think that there's so much out there for these veterans, and there's not. And the process to get some that do qualify for some of the assistance, there's so much red tape, and it takes them so long to actually get anything. Just don't assume that they're being helped, because most of the time, 99% of the time, they're not.
Oh,
but
yeah, we saw that same thing with the VA hospital.
Yeah, so the VA hospital, yeah. And then TRICARE, on top of that, that's a lot of our issue was medical. So a lot of our debt had accumulated. It was medical. People just don't realize how it is. But there is hope, but it's going to take, every one of us standing up. But even if it's just a smile, people think, oh, well, I don't have enough money. You don't really have to have money. You have knees you can get on to pray. You have a smile that you can look at somebody and you can tell them, hey, I see you. You're a person.
Exactly.
You matter.
Exactly. Tony, thank you so much. I got to let you go. We are out of time. Again, the website, GoFundMe.com /Mission Christian. Remember, folks, today, tomorrow, and as always, look into jury nullification. No victim, no crime. And may your path lead to heaven, and may freedom follow in your footsteps.
You gonna get higher, and sometimes you gotta start low. Some people think they're gonna die someday. I got news, you never got to go.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat-rated armor up to level 4. And now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Why be held hostage by your wireless carrier for 2 years? What if you had no contract, no activation fees, no hidden costs, tracking, tracing, harvesting customer data, or draconian gimmicks? All on America's largest 4G LTE, GSM, and Sprint networks. Introducing Pix Wireless. Activate your Sprint, AT&T, or unlock GSM phones with Pix and choose from an arsenal of monthly plans or build your own. Starting at only $2.99 per month. Get connected now. Call or click 1-866-205-9513 or PixWireless.com, spelled PixWireless.com. Pick Pix and get connected today.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937.